So good to have you back, Mr. Justin.
What? That's like everyone everywhere when they're trying to pronounce my name. Like
Froese.
Froese. I like that.
Yeah,
Justin Froese.
We've been through a journey together, trying to figure out. We're talking about. You've been helping me trying to figure out my sound, and it's not just my sound. It's well, I'm a little complicated case because we're trying to really hone in the wide spectrum of my eclectic taste, I guess. But it started because you wanted to explain to me exactly what the process of your training courses are, which is what is it called again? That
Soulful
the
Songwriter.
Soulful Songwriter, right? And I mean, the way you set it up, it appeals to a mass market. I mean, it is for everybody because, well, it allows you to center yourself, allows you to express yourself in the most honest, natural way. Am I hitting the spot here?
Yes, keep going.
Would
This is good.
would you like to
Take over?
Tell us more about it?
Definitely. Yeah. What you and I have been discussing is not dissimilar to what the work of the Soulful Songwriter Mastermind program is. And with you, because of all of your experience and all your development and your wide interest and skill, it feels like honing in and focusing and getting clear is a bigger thing or more work. But I think we've been making great strides going back and forth and just going through the process. So the process is the same in the mastermind, where the intention of the group is to bring songwriters on a transformational journey where they get clarity on what their dream, their big vision is, what their target name is, where they're headed, what they would most like. And then we get clear for them what the action steps would be that are in alignment with that. If you want to do that, how can you start being that now, and how can you start moving towards that? What are the actions of someone who has that dream, who embodies that thing that you want? And then the other really key thing that all artists need a mirror or feedback or mirroring experiences. I often call it the hall of mirrors, because you're moving from point A to point B, you're headed down the hall, progressing in a direction. And at each stage, we need feedback. We need reflection. We need someone who sees where we're at and can help us see what's working and what needs a little more work, and give us that feedback, not just in a this doesn't work way, but a specific way, so that we understand our strengths, what's working. And when something's not working, we also understand how to diagnose it and look at it and get to the bottom of where do I need to try something different, or what exactly is off. Either way, helpful, because then we can move forward. When we don't know what to do next, that's when we get stuck, right? So the journey brings songwriters through these phases so that by the end, they've gotten clarity on what their gifts are. They've built the mindset and the belief and stepped into the embodiment of who they are as a creative and what's possible for them, right? So they've imagined themselves as capable. And we do that work, because if you don't do it, it's in the way.
So what is it? The group thing? Is it a
it's a group
one-on-one?
coaching. It's a group coaching program. Yeah. And so it's 10 songwriters that will all meet together weekly and online on Zoom. And each week we're writing songs. And the minimum that we aim for is 2 a week. And the way I set that up is these songs don't have to be perfect or excellent or great. We have to get into a rhythm, and we have to get ourselves moving at a certain pace. Like we talked about, creativity loves speed. You've even heard money loves speed too, right? Right? And because there's an energy and a power and momentum, especially when it's headed in the right direction, it can reach that kind of hockey stick thing and just propel. And so it's about getting into action together as a group with the right creative approach, the right exercises, and measurable outcomes, right? You're actually writing and you're finishing songs each week. But should you just write a bunch of everything? You could, if you just want to see what comes through. But if you know where you want to end up, what that feels like, what that sounds like, then make those aspects conscious and deliberate and begin writing in that way intentionally.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is a program of how long?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been 3 months before, and then it felt like we were just getting ready at 3 months.
Really?
And then it's been 9 months, and it felt like, our work is never done as creatives. And when are we ever at a point where we don't need support, right? But
right.
9 months mentally, even though most albums can take 9 months, is a chunk to stay focused at. And so I'm always adapting to the process and to what I'm learning and to how it's going with people. And so this year it's down to 6 months.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
what have they so far, your groups, what do you see most of them saying this is what they've, gained out of this?
Yeah. So one of the number one things that they say is they gained confidence as a creative person and as an artist to trust their instincts, to know what to do, and to embody their full artistry and be that, right? Begin living and acting as that. And they all also say that they never have written that many songs in that much time. So the productivity and the output is super high. And the quality of those songs, too, they all recognize is way above anything they've ever done before. And that's because of the feedback and the guidance I give on writing in the process.
How are you able to do it with a group setting? That's what I'm trying to understand. Aren't they all writing different songs?
Yes.
So how do you do it in a live setting? I don't understand. With 10 people.
Yes. So we don't exactly do writing on the call. On the call, we cover the writing assignment and the teaching for that week, and we review the songs that they've written. So, for example, one of the avenues in which we write, one of the directions and intentions is writing in the style of. And this is like studying the masters. It's like you want to learn to be as good as Picasso, you'll probably study Picasso. You'll paint you'll try to mimic what you admire and get inside it and learn it, embody it so that you understand it from the inside out. So we'll pick an artist, we'll study their top 3 to 5 songs, we'll analyze and make conscious all the things we're aware of, and then I help them become more aware of what aspects define that style, what makes it what it is. What are if you could sum it up, if you were a musicologist, if you were, going to describe it, if you're going to input it into ChatGPT, if you're going to make it a recipe, what would you need to describe and how would you describe it? So this is it's the work of a songwriter. It's to observe and then find the words for and express, right? It's the same function. So if you already love it, tell me why you love it. Explain it, express it. How does this part work? What's going on? And once we gain some of that language and awakened awareness, then it's like, okay, here's your criteria. Here's your checklist. Here's your palette. Now this week, the assignment is write songs that deliberately sound like that artist. That almost sound like you're ripping them off or like just make it as like it sounds like they wrote it. I want you to aim for that, right? Given this conscientious material criteria. And then we review those and I evaluate them. We all evaluate. So when we get on a call and review songs, we'll listen to it. I'll have the lyrics up and I teach them to make a lyric chart. So every week they have to submit like just a iPhone recording, and then a lyric chart where they have the lyrics written out by section with the chords above, and we'll listen all together, and then I'll give feedback. I'll invite them to give feedback, and I make sure that I tell everyone, always pick at least one thing to say that you appreciate about it. Look for the things that you like. Look for the things that are working, that are good. Train yourself to do that, especially in collaborative settings, right? And then if there's something that's not working for you, make sure that you present that to the group in your feedback with why it is, or what's missing. And that ties into how I try to train songwriters to be very aware of the function of the aspects of the song, the function of the lyrics, right? Function of the melody, function of the rhythms. Why that rhythm? What is it doing? What is it accomplishing? What's the function of it? We have to be in touch with that so that we can make those right choices. And so we do that with, writing in the style of, then we do it collaboratively. Then I also guide them to, what are the pillars of your artistry, the message. If you could sum up like that message that your soul came here to give the earth, or what are the topics you're most drawn to, or what are the topics that you can really sell? Maybe it's heartbreak. You can sell it like a mother. Okay. Let's be clear what your main themes are. And we look at that with great artists too. We go like, what do they seem to always keep singing about? But they nail it. They do great at like tragic heartbreak, or like, I just want to party, or I'm overcoming, I'm a champion, right?
Yeah, it's almost you're embodying that persona and you're becoming that thing. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about it today with my persona and what I'm trying to achieve. It's like I like all these songs and all these genres and music and culture and language, but I'm like, you know what? But what I want to be is just I want to be cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I remember that. Very interesting, isn't it?
Of all the things you can do and of all the things you love, the one that you landed on was, I want to be cool. And it's like, okay, why? I want to be relaxed and confident. And I don't want to be like overdoing it.
Right.
Which is to say, I want to be like in balance with life.
Well, you mentioned about being in your natural state.
Yeah.
And that's what resonated, right? It's like, where's my natural state? And this is it, the way I'm talking right now, right? When I want to be able to sing without over trying, over pushing, over anything. It should be, I don't want to say easy, but flowy and, natural.
Yeah. And what you just did when you exemplified that is you let your voice drop and you let it fill out and you let it kind of like expand into this richness. You let it land in a certain place in you. You can place it other places, and you could talk in all these places.
Yes.
But where does it feel most natural? Where is its like sort of resting place? And where is the placement that gives you the most energy or gives you the greatest feeling of connection to life itself?
Sure. But where's because, there's a part of me that's an actor.
Yes.
Which we all have.
Yeah.
And you like to play in it sometimes, I want to be like Justin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just
it's fun
you
to play.
Embody a persona.
Yeah.
At times, sometimes this, sometimes that, and the different genres kind of that's what they do. A country singer has a certain feel, and a blues singer has a certain feel, right?
Totally.
So, is there room for that?
Yeah.
Or should I just stay in my natural state? Right.
Well, a lot of this journey of existence and consciousness is a expansion and contraction, and going out and a coming back, a venturing way out and a returning to ourselves. And so I think that there's a both and there's an ebb and flow is natural. And most of our problems, I think, come from our resistance to the seasons, the cycles, to I'm in an introverted place. No, I should be outgoing right now. Like a lot of our inner tension comes from us resisting our cycles and natural flows that, we by design have range. We're not set to be this one way and just stay this way all the time. And we love range. And think about it. The lungs experience range, the blood flow experience. I mean, the whole system experiences a range, not just like a static beep, right? So we're here to experience that, and it's fun to play. To play is to explore different dimensions in a safe way, in an imaginative way, and to feel some joy and exhilaration, in doing so. So of course it's good to play.
Yes, but I guess what I've learned, just having a conversation with you was interesting, that longevity is you finding you can play as much as you want. Obviously, there are seasons, like you said, but for longevity of a career or in the music and expression, is best if you do find your most, what is it called? Easy state, comfortable state, or natural state,
authentic. I don't know.
Right? For long term. I mean, you can't keep playing if you do the same song in a certain character, how long can you do that character for? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not really authentically your character.
Yeah. Well, characters or personas, archetypes, their use in our experience is their ways of responding to things. There's ways of expressing things. All expression is a response. All expression is always a response to experience. So if I can kind of come back like this country guy, it's because that sort of response feels appropriate, feels like a fit, or feels like it'll make a connection, right? There's a function to persona. Now, when we jump around and we never pick one, it's usually because we're in a state of questioning who we are or searching for who we are. Because you would think after enough exploration, you land somewhere. But if you keep moving, then you're a mover.
But isn't that's the purpose? Is that like take Jim Carrey, okay?
Yeah.
You've seen this whole transformation of his, right? He's like, I don't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, none of this is real. I pretended to be Jim Carrey for whatever time.
He's still acting.
And he's like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I am nothing at the same time. I just want to, pick personas that I like sometimes, and I'm aware that they are just personas that I'm creating. And he's fine with it. But we, as a society in general, people are always trying to find the real you. Who is the real you? Who is the real you?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Do you think what?
I think that it's inevitable after a lot of exploration, and you will discover who you are and who you are not. And the war and the struggle of who am I and who am I not, and I need to know and I need to find out, and when I don't know, life is like that whole thing. There's an option in the human experience to relieve that, and it's the one he's taken, where essentially the self as a concept, I'm going to separate myself from and witness it and not be attached to it. I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything, I'm nothing. And that's the result of his journey, as he wants to do that. That itself is a persona.
I see.
And that itself is a role, because anything embodied or acted out or expressed is essentially, functionally, a role. And so
you think that people genuinely have a certain place they take in the grand scheme of things, with their personality and their character and all that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the self is a journey.
But can you change that? Like,
Well,
can Justin become Ellie and Ellie become Justin? Let's
well,
try. No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to try. See, it'd be playful. Well, because it's fun to like get out of ourselves.
All right, let's try it.
Okay, let's try.
I'll start. Well, the justification of the persona,
Yes, soft
as you
spoken.
dive deeper into the ends of what we're trying to.
Italian sign language, hand gestures, yeah. And big words, soft spoken. You nailed it. That's
Yeah?
good. That's good. That's good. Now you just gotta stay. You gotta go deeper.
You gotta go deeper.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Not on camera. I'm kidding.
No, that's fine.
Ah,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a journey, and I think we're supposed to explore, and I like to encourage people to explore. And you have to choose something, but I also want you to know that choosing something doesn't mean that is who you are or that is who you have to be. But when we choose something that resonates and then we move ahead with that, it allows us to get out of the analyzation and the questioning and just get into acting and embodiment and just move forward.
it triggered something in
Okay.
my head, and I think there's an application to the character that you're playing, and it would be very helpful for individuals, psychologically, physically, very healthy, if they choose the characters they choose to play to balance themselves. That's what I do. I like that. So if I'm singing a certain song, I'm like, I feel like I need a little bit of this character. So I would sing those songs.
Yeah.
Because then it embodies what I want to be at that moment.
What you're craving, or
Yeah, I guess it's more of a psychological approach to it. You create a character in order to, it's the whole attraction of people's to religion, I think, right? Like, why this religion versus that? Obviously, beyond than just what you were born into, but it personifies certain characteristics. They're like, I like Christianity because it's turned down the cheek or something. Like, I need to be a little more like that. So let me just be a little more like Jesus. Or you know what? I want a little bit of Buddha, or I want a little bit of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You embody the God. It's kind of, you create a character to, because you want a certain balance, or you want a certain thing to prevail at the
Yes.
moment.
Yes. A lot of our preferences, implicit or explicit, are a response to experiences that we've had. I had an experience. I'm like, I didn't like that. Guess what? I didn't like that, so I'm going to choose this now because this redeems that, or this justifies that, or this is better than that, right? And we're choosing preferences that way versus just let me look at everything available here and really assess it objectively. Impossible, right? Because my values are built into my perception. So I'm going to go, well, that's cool, but that's not as cool as this, or that, that's degrading to this, or this suggests that I'm this and I don't like that. And it's because they doesn't match with your values. And so
You could change perceptions.
well, yeah, we have a change of perception when we have some kind of experience, some kind of event that radically shifts perspectives that we had, right?
And a lot has to do with the people we're dealing with.
People we're dealing with, the circumstances, like if you've never experienced someone close to you passing on, then you don't know what it's like to live with and carry that grief, But if you literally seen someone die in front of you, if you've lost a loved one, a relative, now that experience will change your perception of death, of life, of value, of what matters. So these adjustments in perceptions come from our experience. And that's why, unless you can go around, experience a lot of people, the people you're with, as you travel, culture, at least the trying on of perspectives and personas allows us to, again, the function. Why would we do it? I want to see things differently. I want to see things from that vantage point. I get something when I see something about heartache that's empowered, like don't fuck with me kind of heartache level, versus like I'm broken and heartbroken, right? It's like, no, I don't want any more of that, right? So exploring all this in conjunction with writing, I have found is super potent, because then it's so intimate, it's so personal, it's so immediate, and it's so relevant to where you are at existentially, that you're going to be really engaged with it, with a process of, oh, let me bring forward this thing I'm aware of and express it, but in a song. And then I embody the thing that I'm aware of. There's some liberation in that.
I can see why it's a hit. Well, people would like that at all. I mean, whether you're a superstar artist or not, I mean, artists who are already truly in the industry, I mean, they already embody it. It would be great. I always thought it would be wonderful to bring it into the masses. So wonderful for everybody else, right? It's kind of like, I heard Jim Carrey says, after I made all this money, I wish I could make everybody have this money, so they experience what I've experienced, And I think that that's what you're doing. I think you're bringing that awareness and that mass appeal. They're not aware of it, but you're bringing it about. I think it's wonderful.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I realized that if you're going to put the effort into expressing yourself, let it come from the most real place in you, because that's going to resonate the most with people in a deep, lasting way. And I'm looking for, musical experiences, life experiences that resonate deeply, because I'm just oriented towards that. Like, you could see a place or meet a person and it can change you, and you're like, holy wow, that sort of thing I love. And I'm always looking for that possibility, versus like, no, this one just confirms my biases and makes me shake my booty and smile for a second, and then I move on with my day. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
You don't think that people are just people in general?
Some people are.
Isn't there some basic, baseline to humanity?
Yeah.
I mean, people, we all do pretty much.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you mean?
That's a good question. That's a great question. I'm trying to say that, yes, there's all these colors, but in the end, there's just one color or no color at all. I don't know. I guess it's all at the same time. And yes, I think that in general, I think it'll be best to just apply things that you think is necessary to get to the result that you want to get to. And that's the beauty of being human, is the ability to see different perspectives, change motifs, and do all the stuff that is not fantastic. It's what sets us apart, I think.
Totally. I think this is the heart and soul of the songwriter, is that they're a people person. It doesn't mean they have tons of friends or they're a perfect person. It means that they observe people, they understand people, they see things about people, they know, and then they can articulate it and express it back in songs. And then people hear those songs and go, oh my God, that's me too. Oh, they help people feel seen. And so I think the one that helps people feel seen is the one who sees a lot, and has seen themselves. So I like to put a little effort on that, but it's important. But then also, okay, what's the outcome? What would you like to see happen? Well, I want to record my songs. I haven't done that yet. Awesome. By the end of this program, you will have recorded your songs. I feel like I can't write easily, naturally. Okay. Then by the end of this program, you're going to write easily and naturally. What's another outcome? I want to write a great song, my best song yet, record it, release it, and play a show with a band. I've never done that. I want to organize all those aspects and logistics and be the artist that does those things. Great. By the end of this program, you'll do that. And those are
Very
all
cool.
things, that we've done.
I love it.